Hey everybody, I'm Chris, and today we're going to do a video, basically, who is Exo Drones? And first off, they sent me two drones, I'll show you. They sent me the Exo Mini Pro and then the Blackhawk 2 Pro. So these are both the Blackhawk series, but it's the Mini Pro and then the Blackhawk 2 Pro. Both drones are basically a copy of a Hubsan drone. So that's what I decided to do with this video. Instead of doing unboxing, review, and all that kind of stuff, I wanted to lead off with basically who is Exo. And we all know they've made this partnership and everything with Hubsan, but I've asked them some questions. They gave me some answers. Most of you probably already know this information, but I figured I'd share it, put it on my channel. Any newcomers come along that don't know this information, they will have it. So first off, just to show you the drones, this is the Mini Pro. Looks exactly like the Hubsan Xeno Mini Pro, except they've gone and made it black. Put their little embossed or etched Blackhawk symbol on there and then made it gold. But exact same drone. And then we have this one, which is very reminiscent of the Hubsan Ace Pro. And this is the Blackhawk 2 Pro. This is one that's probably going to bring the most excitement, and I think this one's going to be the biggest success that Exo will have. But it's just like the Ace, black, got the etched symbol on the front, gold all the way around the top. Very interesting decor with that gold. Which I'll talk about a little bit later, but all the drones are printed on the side with gold ink, Exo, and then underneath that, Hubsan. So they still have to put the name Hubsan on there. And then if you have a white tag, which this one doesn't have the white sticker on it, but the Mini Pro has the white sticker on it, it also says Hubsan, Exo Hubsan on the side of it. So this partnership, that they still have to share that name Hubsan, because after all, this is a majority of a Hubsan product. They've gone and just basically locked in the U.S. market, put their spin on it, and they've done some other things. And doing those other things, and that's why I wanted to kind of do this video. Supposedly, if they've done everything they're claiming to do, you're better off here in the USA if you buy their versions versus if you bought them, if you were able to buy them direct from Hubsan. So that's what I want to explain and go through. Explain who Exo is, what their whole agenda is here, and just kind of, man, that drone slides easy, and just kind of explain everything that they've said to me in conversation. So I've been in touch with them. I had a lot of questions. I've emailed back and forth with them. They respond super quick to email. Maybe it's because they know I'm going to review their product or products, but I've also gone and joined some of the Facebook groups. I read threads, I read forums, and I'm not seeing anybody really say anything negative about Exo whatsoever. The overall picture I'm getting is people are very happy. People are excited about Exo Drone, regardless if they're attached to Hubsan or not. Attaching yourself to Hubsan is a brave, brave thing, because Hubsan's got a very bad reputation as a business. They put out some good products, but they screw those products up. Those products could come to us in a very good working order, but Hubsan's quality control, the way that company is run, the way no department communicates with the other, they create a mess. And then we end up buying that mess. And then there's no customer support. Returns, forget about it. It's ridiculous. So kudos to Exo for making this partnership with Hubsan. You're very brave. And I hope this is something that lasts. But who is Exo Drone? First off, they are out of Utah, here in the USA. This is going to be mainly of interest to anybody here in the USA, but they went and came across Hubsan, and their exact words are they found Hubsan to be falling short and riddled with mistakes and problems and bugs, and they wanted to work with Hubsan and do something about that and put their own little spin on it. So what they did was they went and picked a few Hubsan models, as you've seen here, and then there's one other Blackhawk that kind of copies the, or does copy the Hubsan Xeno Pro. So they took interest in those. They selected these models and put their little spin on it, and started working closely with Hubsan engineers for almost a year to work out the bugs and the problems and see what it will take to make a better product and deliver that product. And part of that is customer service and everything else that I mentioned that we don't have with Hubsan. So they did this for about a year, working out bugs and so forth, and then also were a big part of this as it was in its conception of becoming a new model. And I think that's why this one is so. I mean, if you could hold this, if you don't own this drone and you could hold this, this thing is super strong. There is not one piece of plastic on it that I can actually flex or bend or move. Like normally you can press through the tops. The top here, I can still press into it and get it to move. That's the softest spot on the whole quad. The rest, I mean, this little front shield right here, I could squeeze that as hard as I want. I mean, I'm squeezing it with everything I've got and it doesn't push in at all. The legs don't flex. The plastic, you can hear, it's solid. It's not a hollow echo sound. It's a thick plastic. It's got a little bit of weight to it. It's not super heavy, but it's got a little bit of weight to it for its size. The bottom, the thinner plastic shield here on the bottom, you can't push it or bend it. I mean, it's all very strong. Even where the fan's at, you don't get very much movement in that at all. This thing would probably take a hit like a beast and survive it. So I think this is going to be one their biggest success right here, and I think it's going to be the one that I'm more impressed with because I've already know what the Hubsan Xeno Mini Pro is, and that's basically what that model is. But I'm very interested to see what they've done with it compared to what I've had in the Hubsan Xeno Mini Pro. So getting back to who Exo is and what they're doing, they worked out the issues and stuff with Hubsan on these drones. Let me set this back down. And I asked them, so what are some of these issues, these problems that you've solved that's going to give me and the other U.S. consumers a better product? And I have it written down here. They gave me just a little handful of some things that they've successfully been able to resolve with the drones that we're purchasing. One of them is connectivity issues. So that would be typically your USB disconnect. And then I'm not talking about a failed cable. I'm not talking about a failed piece of hardware. None of that. Those are things that you can spot and figure out. And also a lot of people, like mainly it's pretty much just Android users, you put your phone into airplane mode and that USB disconnect or whatever goes away. The USB disconnect I'm talking about is that phantom USB disconnect that just pops up for no reason whatsoever, and you have to reset. Sometimes it can take 7, 8, 9 times of resetting the drone before that USB connection is reestablished, and then you fly a handful of times and it's fine. That is just some little glitch inside the firmware where something we do within the app possibly is counteracting and making that happen, and then it's a pain in the butt to try to get it to go away. Some people, I think, give up and just don't resolve it, but that's one thing they say they've done. They've corrected some app issues, which that would kind of fall into what I was talking about with the connectivity, but also probably other miscellaneous small bugs within the app, and then maybe functions and features that aren't working or just aren't working correctly. So those are the kind of things that they're saying they took care of. They also say they played a big part in some image color issues. So some color grading perhaps where we're not oversaturated. We don't have so many of these drone companies give us too much green, too much blue, or a rust color brown. So hopefully they've gone and given a nice color palette there. I'm flying my hands all over the place when I talk here. And then lastly, they say they resolve some gimbal issues. So with that, I would say probably a gimbal tilt, your horizon's off. I know that, gimbals are a big problem with the Hubsan Xenos, all of the Hubsan Xenos where the flex cable fails. I don't see them really resolving that unless they got Hubsan to use a better, thicker, better made flex cable. Because what happens with their flex cables, I work on drones, for those of you who do not know. I do work on a lot of Hubsan drones. I work on everything, but I work on a lot of Hubsan drones. That cable, that flex cable, delaminates and becomes two pieces, and it gets hot and then it fails. You won't see any signs of it except that delamination. Sometimes they come that way. It's just a cheap cable, so I don't know if they've resolved the issue by getting Hubsan to put in a better cable or what, but I would say the more of the issues they resolved there was probably a gimbal horizon issue. And one thing I've experienced from time to time on different Xenos is just this weird little twitch that happens while you're out flying. And it doesn't matter if you're in the wind or flying slow or fast, you get this weird little twitch. So those are some of the issues, and then they just say in other areas where Hubsan falls short, they've helped resolve some of these issues. So by that, I think they mean the customer service experience and all that. So we'll get a little further into that, but not stopping there. What they did is they, of course, went and made their own app. So now we're not on the Hubsan, the X Hubsan or the X Hubsan 2 app. Now we have an Exo app. And by doing that, the good thing is our data is a little safer. So we all know that, as soon as you go and turn on this device here, you turn on anything today. Heck, my speaker over there is listening to every word I say. Our data is being used somehow. So I'm not saying that they're not doing anything with our data, because if I go to their website and just look real quick and then get out of there, I'll get a message saying, hey, noticed you were taking a peek. So data is being used, but our data, I think, is a lot safer because they have to go by the USA data laws and going through their servers, not through China's. And China's laws, loose laws. China's very good at protecting their own from seeing things, but I think they do use our data in a negative way. So that could be a good selling point right there in itself, to where we're going through their servers, protected by United States data laws, data protection laws, and keeping us a little safer. I know that is a big deal for a lot of people. We can't escape it unless you just go off grid and don't have any electronics whatsoever. But in the drone industry, you're going to be sharing some data. So that is one thing. And then, of course, change the color and the model names and so forth. But in a nutshell, basically, Hubsan, Exo found they can't fix Hubsan, the company. Nobody can fix Hubsan, the company. That company is a complete mess, run by Sam Lee. So Sam Lee's to blame for this, because it has not changed in the 7 years that I've been using Hubsan drones. And I've worked closely with Hubsan, kind of like Exo's doing, to try to better the firmware is where I focused. And I wasn't, of course, making my own product and design by changing the color and scheme of it, the way the drone looks. I was just working closely with them on firmware and making that firmware better by testing, and giving them reports and making sure that they would fix them before they'd release that firmware. And while I was doing that, we had good firmware. We didn't have issues. But that all ended once we got into the Xeno. I just couldn't take it anymore because the Xenos were going to, they went nuts with the Xenos. And just release stuff with problems that are more than what we're used to. So any drone you buy today, DJI, Autel, it doesn't matter, you're going to have issues with firmware, things that don't work, things that are missing that they're going to give us in future updates. But Hubsan's habit is they might get us close, but then they can go right back downhill and make it even worse. So these are the things where Exo's stepped in and is doing, and hopefully this Exo and that Exo are going to be better than the two Hubsan products if you were to buy the Ace and the Mini Pro. But again, they found they couldn't fix the company, but they could fix the products. They struck their deal with Hubsan. I think they came along at the right time with Hubsan. During COVID, Hubsan let a lot of people go. Hubsan's not the big company that people think they are. Hubsan doesn't completely create and build their drones. That's outsourced. They do the smaller stuff, putting a few components on, and mainly the packaging and then the logistics and all that. They do their firmware, and they completely can make a wreck of that. Exo now in the United States, it's basically like they are doing exactly what Hubsan's doing. Hubsan outsources the drones being made, so Exo's going through Hubsan, or they're outsourced to have the Exos made. Sorry, my nose itches. And then bringing them into the U.S. So these are still made in China, still with the same parts and everything, but they bring them into the U.S., and that's where you get the better customer service. When you buy this baby, you're going to have it probably within 2 days. Now we have somebody who's going to back up their warranty and give us a little better guarantee. And they have some pretty good programs that they're offering as well, which I'll get into just in a little bit here. But the one thing that I really want to talk about before I get to that is the big claim of the Hubsan Xeno Mini Pro. It will not fly here in the USA. You can't use the Hubsan Xeno Mini Pro or the Hubsan Ace Pro here in the USA. It simply will not work. You cannot fly it. I don't think so. This is where I have nothing but doubt. I don't think this is something Exo can claim, and I don't think they should claim this. Maybe I'm wrong, but unless the only way they could do this is if they have control over the Hubsan app and Hubsan servers. Because if I buy, now I can't buy these drones anywhere here in the U.S. Our beloved Hubsan US in New York, they've closed their doors as a result of this partnership. They were a dealer. That's where I got a lot of my parts for repairing drones. So they closed doors as a result of this, but we can't. They were a dealer, and any other dealer, we can't buy the Hubsan products. But we all know AliExpress, companies like that in China, they'll take our money. They'll send us these drones, and they'll ship them for free. So I think I can buy a Hubsan drone, any of these two models, and bring it into the United States using the Hubsan app like you're supposed to, and be able to fly these drones. I can fly the Hubsan Xeno Mini Pro now. I'm sure I could fly the Ace. There's some people that have the Ace that are flying them, so I don't think that's a true statement. But I did ask, how are you stopping these from not working in the United States? So the correct answer here, or their exact answer here, is this has been done by the app reading the drone's serial number to check if it has been registered in the Exo database. If it hasn't, the drone will not fly. So that goes back to what I was saying. Why would it be in the Exo database? So if I'm flying a Hubsan and I use the Hubsan app, how is that going through the Exo server database? So maybe they do have more control than we think, and future drones just aren't going to fly here. But I think they will, and I'm not encouraging anybody to go out and test that theory, because we all know returning a product to China that doesn't work is hell in itself. So I don't recommend you test that theory. But that's just what I think. I don't think that's the case. I think we'll be able to fly their drones here. We just can't buy them here. But they say we can't fly them here, so I'm going to take them for their word for it and just say Exo says we can't fly Hubsan drones here. Now, I know them being based, Exo being based here in the USA, if you were to buy it in Europe and buy the Exo in Europe and try to use it, maybe that wouldn't work. They won't sell it to you, but if I sell it to you, maybe it will not work. So that I can swallow. I can understand that one. So basically, that's who Exo is. That's what their whole goal is. Basically, well, of course, to make money, but to bring us a better product. They experienced the crappy product riddled with bugs and issues, as they said. We've all experienced this one time or another. If you are a Hubsan buyer that's had several models, I mean, I've owned a majority of everything that Hubsan has ever made in the past 7 years. When I worked closely with them, I was given every model to test, all their little tiny little drones up to their big drones. So I know Hubsan very well, and nothing has ever changed with them. They'll have the new release. The customer service will be great in a very small window of that new release, and then after that, they stop responding, or if they see the problem is something they don't want to deal with, they just will not reply to you anymore. And they get their feelings hurt very easily if you are overheated and excited when you are dealing with their customer service. Literally will just completely stop talking to you. So what does Exo offer when you go and purchase their drones? Now, I have a piece of paper here that I wrote down that they had a discount code, but that disappeared. And then they came out with this quick flash sale. It was like a 48-hour sale. So the first discount code was called Extra 25. I don't know that that works anymore, because then they came out with $100 off for 48 hours. So they're promoting like crazy. Everywhere I go, I see Exo, and I see their promotions, and they have different deals each week almost. So I really can't tell you what the deal of the day is. You just have to go to their website and check. And the other thing is, of course, you're going to get 2 free day shipping. It's usually 2 to 3 days here in the USA. Depending on where you live, you might get 1 day, next day. They ship through Amazon shipping. You're purchasing direct from Exo, but they ship through Amazon shipping, so you will get it quickly. That's why I say someday some people might get it next day. And then what is it they have? The 10-day buy and try guarantee. This is huge. If they back this up, this is huge, because you can go take this baby out, fly it around, and decide, you know what, it's got too many bells and whistles. I don't like the sensors, which not too many people ever say that, but you could find that there is a little glitch or something. You don't want to wait for the firmware update for it. You just feel like it's just, you're a little uneasy about it. Return it. If you're within that 10 days, return it and get your money back. That's pretty sweet. Now, don't be that guy that goes and sticks this thing up into a tree or crashes into the side of his house and breaks something or scratches it all up and decides, I don't want it now. I'm going to send it back. I'm within my 10-day window. That's just messed up. That they're not going to give you your money back on that one. You're stuck with it. So 10-day buy and fly, return in good condition. That's a very good little warranty or guarantee that they're offering you there. Not stopping there, they're giving you a free Part 107 course. So if you want to get be a certified Part 107 pilot, they're taking care of that fee for you, so you can do that for free. There's all kinds of study programs and everything out there. Study for your Part 107 course. Go through Exo Drone, and the bill's on them, and they'll take care of you. So they will set you up with that, and from here, I guess all we have to do is just follow Exo closely. If you don't own one of their drones and you're interested, follow them closely and just see if they back up all the things that they say they are doing, and their guarantees and warranties and so forth. Like I said in the very beginning, I've followed a lot of stuff and I'm not finding anything really bad. We don't have a lot of disgruntled owners out there. Let's talk about price real quick and then we'll end the video. So I'll pull up the website, and we have for the Blackhawk 2 Pro, we can't, let's go ahead and just go with the max here. It comes with the sensors all the way around it and everything, so it's your full package. You can go with a Blackhawk 2. That's a little bit lesser drone in the specs. If you go to their website, you'll get the full specs. I'm not going to go through them all here, but we're going with the Blackhawk 2 Pro that they sent me, and then I'm going to click on the 3 battery kit. And then that takes us to a total currently with a sale that they're having, $1,079. That is a little on the pricey side, I think, for this type of drone. But all drone prices have gone up, if you've noticed, this past year. And this kind of falls under that same thing where everybody else's prices have gone up too. And then naturally, the thing is, well, why buy this when I can go buy a DJI? There's a market for every drone out there, even the junkiest of junk. There's a market for it. Somebody is going to want this drone. A lot of people are going to want this drone over a DJI drone for a few reasons. What I mentioned with the data going through a U.S. server, not being involved with China whatsoever, that's probably a big boost for some people to buy this drone. The other would be there's no restrictions here. There's no zones where we can't fly this drone. Now, you got to be smart and don't do something stupid and go fly over an airport or something like that, or a stadium during a game. But those are reasons why there's a market for a drone like this. You throw in the customer service and the guarantees and everything that these young men are doing over at Exo. People are willing to pay a little bit more for that in some cases. So this might not be a bad price for many, and it might be a bad price for the other. So that's the price for that. And then I'm babbling on too long here. Let's go into the Exo Mini Pro. And I'm going to select the Mini Pro, of course, and we're going to go with 3-way obstacle avoidance. That's an option. And we are going for the maximum 128 gigabyte internal storage and 3 batteries. So that's the biggest package you can get for the Pro, and that is at $979. So if we compare that to the DJI Mini 3 Pro, at the biggest package you can get, let's select the DJI Mini 3 Pro with the DJI RC. Getting tongue twisted here. And let's go with the Fly More of the advanced batteries with the the larger battery that puts you overweight. 47 minute flight time. That's going to put us at $1,158 for the DJI Mini 3 Pro. So very close to the $979 currently of the Exo Mini Pro. Naturally, I think I'd rather go with the DJI Mini 3 Pro. I'm loving that drone, but some people, like I said, there's a market for these drones for different people. Some people might not want that DJI product, period. A lot of people push away from DJI. So that's pretty much it. That's their prices. And let me close this out. So we have all the prices. We know that we're going to get this drone quickly. We know that they're offering good warranty service. They'll take a return after you've done your your buy and fly for 10 days. As long as it's within that 10 days, you'll get a free Part 107. All these things seem wonderful. So let's hope Exo is what they say they are, meaning a good company that has worked out the bugs in the products and delivering us well-tested products, giving you a good user experience, good customer experience, overall purchase experience. Ending this video, I just have a little couple small requests for Exo. First off is the design of this gold. I'm sure many will love it. I don't like it. I don't like all the gold on there at all. I don't like, flashy gold and silver on the drones. But something a little different would be nice. Even if it was just solid black without that gold, that would be fine. But I'm just being nitpicky here. When I look at this, and I don't mean any disrespect, Exo, I just think of lowrider. The old lowriders, the big, long 25-foot car, lead sleds with the hydraulics lifting the rear up, lifting the front up, standing on two wheels. And now the song Lowrider's playing in my head. But that's what this gold reminds me of. For me, it's a little tacky. I don't like it at all, and I think it'll wear with finger oils of your fingers. I feel like that will wear off in time. Maybe not as bright and flashy as your red, white, and blue USA Exo drone, but something a little different than this right here. Let me design it. That would be great. Work with me. I won't charge a dime. Let me design one of your future models, and or heck, even etch my QC logo on the front. That would be great. People probably won't buy it for that reason alone, but that would be one of my requests, just being goofy. But it would never stop me from buying the drone. But my biggest request is for the DIY guys. You're out of warranty. They like to fix them themselves. I fix drones for people. What the hell was that? Make the parts readily available for all the DIY guys, please. I mean, every part. Don't do like Autel and not sell us a simple little rubber damper, gimbal damper, and expect us to send the drone in to have that broken damper replaced. Sell all the parts: arms, motors, ESCs, motherboards, cables, spare gimbals, everything. Sell all the parts. That right there will make people happy. Trust me. If there's so many people that like to fix their own drones, and me needing the parts now that you've made this partnership with Hubsan, and poor Hubsan US has had to close doors, I don't get my parts in 2 days anymore. So please sell the parts, and I mean all the parts. I replace anything on a drone that needs replaced. I can completely rebuild a complete devastation of a wreck, and get it back to the customer and make them happy. Customers being able to do that themselves as well is what will make them happy. Hey, this is a great company. If I buy their drones, I can get parts. There's so many drones out there you just can't get the parts for, or you're locked out, like DJI locks out a lot of things when you replace it. You need special software enabled to make that work. So those are my two requests. Let's work on a different color scheme. Let's get rid of that gold. The gold's getting old, and let's make the parts readily available. So those are my requests. And did I mention I don't think this relationship's going to last with Hubsan and Exo? I don't think I did. This Hubsan and Exo relationship, it's not going to last. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy here, but Hubsan is not your friend. Hubsan does not care about you. You are benefiting Hubsan right now, just like Hubsan is benefiting you. So Hubsan is going to be the one to break this relationship, and I give it probably 2 years, and something's going to happen to where they just leave you in the dust. They will break their agreements with you. There is nothing they're worried about as far as if you have a written law binding contract, they will break that contract because it's just no fun trying to sue anybody in China. So they can do what they want, and they will, and they'll leave you in the dust. So right now you're bailing them out is what you're doing. Is when they don't need you, you'll know about it. And Hubsan drones will be for sale in the U.S. Again in the future. I foresee that happening. I think a lot of people do. So that's probably what will end up being the deal breaker. Is you'll have this little agreement with them where you're only selling Exo drones, no Hubsans are allowed in this country to be sold, and Hubsan's going to start forming little dealerships and sending the drones here to the U.S. People are going to buy the Hubsans at a cheaper price than the Exos, and that's going to piss you off, and you're going to end up having a broken relationship with Hubsan. That's my prediction of how it's all going to play out. It may be different, but I don't see this relationship lasting. So that is it, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for whoever stuck around for this. I think I'm over 30 minutes now. I try to do a 20-minute video, and it just doesn't work. But I know I'm boring to watch. People don't have the attention span to sit here and listen to the monotone voice of Chris. But for those of you who just have absolutely nothing else to do or have a great attention span, which I don't even have, and stuck it out throughout this whole video, you did pick up something probably that you didn't know, and you learned something. So that's what I try to do in my videos. Slip a little something in there no matter what the video is. And then for those who think they've got it all figured out, there's going to be something they missed that you gained. So that is very much appreciated, and I do hope to get Charlie on my channel to do a live stream, and this will be more for the live chat to interact with him and ask him questions, and then whatever I find in my little testing and flights of them, if there's something that I'm curious of that I need to ask him. But you need to be a subscriber to be in the chat of my live streams. We have a good time. It's a big boy channel. Come bring your own alcohol and bring your foul mouth language and all that, and we can have a good time as long as you respect one another. And like I said, you have to be a subscriber to do that. So hit that subscribe button. But once again, thank you, everybody. Thumbs up on your way out. And like I said, if you're new to my channel, subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. And hit that bell for future content notifications, and definitely for my random live streams so you can get the notification and be involved. And that's that. We'll see you on the next video. And then until then, peace and love.